Bare spots in your lawn, or lawn that's about to go dormant and turn brown, or lawn that didn't grow because you've got too much shade, this is the video for you. We'll cover all those topics and more. He almost barked at the FedEx man. Oh, there he goes. Oh my God. I'm John Valentino with John and Bob's. This is Chip Valentino, Vice President in charge of overseeding. We're here at a backyard. We're actually in the front yard, but we're here at a backyard to overseed a hybrid Bermuda lawn that has been struggling. We're going to address the shady spots where nothing has been growing. Stay tuned and I'll give you the secret on that that's a little bit creative. Many of you probably know that Bermuda, in this case hybrid Bermuda, goes dormant as soon as we get some cold weather. So really temperatures around 32 degrees. You can just leave it, nothing wrong with leaving it that way, but if you want the lawn to be green all through the winter months, November, December, January, February, then you can overseed it. We are overseeding it. Alex is doing the overseeding. He does the landscape maintenance here, and we are using perennial rye. That's an excellent rye grass to use to overseed Bermuda because for a few reasons. One, it germinates very quickly. It's got a nice look to it. It's not subject to pests and diseases, and it does well in cool temperatures. It's a cool season grass. For the most part in the sun over the hybrid Bermuda, we're going to use perennial rye, and we're going to seed it at about 8 to 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet. We cut that lawn down as low as we could get it so that that seed has soil it can get into. It germinates a lot better that way than if you put it on top of grass blades. I like to use drop spreaders when I seed. Alex is using a whirlybird spreader, which he's being careful with it, making it so it doesn't go into areas that you don't want to seed. Our other gentleman is by hand going around these shady areas and carefully dropping the seed in hopefully without getting any into the areas where we don't want seed to germinate. So perennial rye does great in full sun, but it really doesn't perform well in the shade like lots of grasses. In this backyard, since the trees that are shading it are deciduous, the trees drop their leaves and let in the light, and the perennial rye needs the light and does fine. The problem we have is as we get into next spring and the leaves come on the trees, those areas get shaded. Nothing grew there this last year. A really creative idea, the most shade-tolerant lawn seed you can use is a type of fescue, and there's several of them. Creeping red fescue, chewing's fescue. Surprisingly, they actually look pretty good with Bermuda. It's a nice complement to a Bermuda lawn, and you almost can't tell it if you do a good job of growing these chewings and red fescue. And that is the most shade-tolerant lawn you can plant. So if that doesn't work, nothing will work. In my experience, it comes up good this time of the year. I did have it not be robust year after year, and I had to overseed it either every year or every other year to keep those creeping fescues, the red and the chewings, looking good and dense. But it's doable, and it's a nice solution to a very shady area with a Bermuda lawn. One of the interesting things is if you do it this early in the year, we're at September 28th, I believe, it's still warm. You can germinate cool season grass over Bermuda without a top dress mulch. What seed needs to germinate is heat and moisture. And if you wait till way into November or something, then we're low on heat. Then we put, well, some people use steer manure, some people use forest humus, some people use wood-based compost, some type of thin layer of a top dress mulch to create heat and retain moisture. That is important if you get later into the season. Alex is going to do it without any top dress mulch other than our John and Bob's blend. So we're going to use blend right over the top. I like to do that because there's ingredients in blend that allow seed to germinate faster and more of the seeds to germinate. And then we're going to spray Penetrate Liquid Biotiller, which also has some magical ingredients that has real impact on seed in terms of making it germinate faster and more of the seeds to germinate. because we had general problems with this lawn, once a month I'm going to spray Penetrate Liquid Biotiller over everything. As we get into spring 2025, we'll do very generous applications of Penetrate Liquid Biotiller and blend. I'm going to use that as a way of just rejuvenating the lawn in general. Then we want to start watering 3 or 4 times a day, not for very long, but maybe 2 or 3 minutes at a time, just to keep that seed moist. You don't need to water the first time till 9 or 10 in the morning because you've got morning dew and you don't have the sun really bright until about 10 o'clock. About 10 o'clock we start watering, so we go maybe 10, noon, 2, 4, something like that. Whenever the sun's out is when we want to water. We probably won't mow it until about 2 weeks after seeding. If it comes up just okay, might be 3 weeks. As long as it's warm, we'll probably have to mow it every week. But as you go into the winter, you'll probably only need to mow it every other week or so. Then as we hit spring, it'll start to grow again, and the Bermuda will green up and start to grow. And what we then want to do is encourage the Bermuda and discourage the perennial rye, because we want a Bermuda lawn. So we start mowing it low like Bermuda likes. Perennial rye doesn't like to be mowed low when it's hot. Perennial rye starts to die off, Bermuda starts to spread. Our creeping fescue then will be kind of nurturing that along, babying that along, trying to make sure it does well, and we'll mow it the same, and they should grow together nicely. I'm eager to see how it looks and eager to show you how it looks. So if you want to see how this germinates, and more than that, if this creative idea of a creeping fescue Bermuda lawn works, please subscribe. Also, if you think it is a creative idea, like this video and encourage us to do more and tell everyone you know about it. We hope to see you back here next week. We post a new one every week, and we'll be showing you this one down the road as it progresses.